The commissioner with a beanie on today, and it's still got COVID. So anyway, we're here to sort of basically do a presentation on the TRSBA conference finals, but just a bit of an update. So 9th of March 2022, the commissioner of the TRSBA, Tim Wilkshire. Okay, so let's have a look at the final, what happened to get to this point. It looks like the West, the Saints are definitely beating the Tigers. If you look at that progressive score for Game 7, it's 289 to 187. It's been up and down year for DeAndre Ayton, but he's looking very positive with this performance here, and he'll need it. He's the dominator indeed. Evan Mobley, 40 fantasy points. We might talk about him a bit later. SGA, 53 fantasy points. You've got to play the Seager. We had Ja Morant with 47. We had Trae Young just had 25, but a great bench. Look at this Tyler Hero, 39 fantasy points for what will probably get the Sixth Man of the Year award. So we've got the final game there for the Tigers. A valiant year, a great rookie year for Scotty Barnes. Sabonis 34 has been good. Halliburton 31. Fox been better of late, 28. So that is the last game for the Saints. So let's talk about the Barbarians versus the Saints. The Saints have got the injuries to OG Anunoby. We've also got Zion is out injured. Zion. Will he be back at all? Probably not. Zion. Yeah, so he's out. Maga Porter Jr., we don't know his status. I don't think he'll play in this series. I'd be very surprised if Maga Porter Jr. played. So the Barbarians have also got their injuries. They've got Lillard. They've got Van Vliet, Andrew Simons, Karis LeVert and Draymond Green. So those 5 guys will miss games in this conference final series. So with that said, the commissioner prediction is that the Saints will beat the Barbarians in this series in 7 games. That's my prediction right here, right now. Let's break it down here. Let's have a look. Ayton's been underperforming all year, 27.7 fantasy points a game. He will need to at least equal Bam, and I think he can. I think he can just about do it. 32 fantasy points. Bam has been really fantastic this year, has Bam Adebayo. So that matchup's important. Dennis can't lose out in that matchup. And then we look at the power forward matchup. We've got Evan Mobley, 25.8. We'll get Rookie of the Year, starting to come on strong, but being consistent all year. But Pascal Siakam, he's even better. He's having a pretty, is it a career year, McD? I'm not sure. Must be pretty fucking close.
They're our favourite because they're the perfect balance of creamy caramel and delicious chocolate.
Delicious chocolate eclairs, just part of our huge pastel range. What's your favourite pastel?
Okay, so an advantage there. Tatum against SGA. Now, what a matchup at small forward, because if you have a look at that, the last 10 games, 41.2 for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is coming on really strong. Tatum in a similar vicinity, over 40 as well. What a matchup. That's going to be fantastic. Steph Curry, now he's really slowed down. He's 35.9 on the year. He's 35.5 over the last 20. So he hasn't had a great year by standards. And McD would be pretty unhappy, especially the way Ja Morant's been running the show. 42.5 fantasy points a game for Ja Morant over the last 20 games for Ja. What a fantastic. Okay, so when you felt there wasn't an advantage there, look at Trae Young's advantage over whatever they're going to put out at point guard. Now, where we going to go here? I mean, Lillard's out, Van Vliet's out, Simmons is probably out. So who steps in there? It's probably Maxi. Mad Max, maybe. Is it him? Will he be the one stepping in there? Probably. He'll probably be the one stepping up into that location. The bench, very important in a series like this. All the injuries. Tyler Hero seems to be one that's going to be called upon, and he'll have to produce big performances, 30 fantasy points nearly over the last 20. OG Anunoby's out. Kevin Porter has been bad this year. Dennis, I'm sorry, but Cousin It has not been performing. He'll need to really perform here, I would imagine. Where is he on here? I can't even find his music anymore. Cousin Kev.
Cousin It, you're losing your hair. He's right. Without his hair, what is he?
So that's the Achilles heel for the Saints in this series. I think it really comes down to their bench. Their bench is not as good as the Barbarian bench down deep. I mean, with all the injuries that they've got, Jay Sean Tate will probably still end up being the ninth man, and he still gets over 20 fantasy points a game. What a series we're looking for here. A lot of injuries. Lowry hasn't been at his best either. But let's play. We haven't had to play Kyle for a while.
Going to get away with this, Mr. Garrison. How's Mama's here to ruin Christmas? Shut up, fat boy. I'm not fat. I'm festively plump.
And with that said, we move on to the East. Let's have a look at the final game there. Dan probably won't want to recap of this, but this is what's happened. The Butchers did defeat the Nerds 4-1 in that series. Christian Wood with a fantasy playoff high, 43 fantasy points for Christian Wood.
My work. It's my work. If I'm foggy, then I know I'm gonna be the one who's...
DeJounte Murray, a top 10 NBA player, who would have thought?
Hey, you got no mustard. It's on the door. What, this yellow stuff? No, I said mustard, Jerry. Dijon.
So going very well. Jimmy Buckets Butler. Bridges has been great. We've also had Towns. Not a great performance there. He will need to be at his best, and we'll talk about him in a minute. Capella, Cole Anthony, Sadiq Bey, and Robert Covington. The Red Devils didn't have a great performance to end things out. They could have done things better. Rogier had been fantastic. Scary Terry. Jim Harden had been really, really good. Dan, so I'm sorry, Dan. There's always next year, buddy. We'll see how we go. We'll see if we can get a team back from there. Let's have a look at this matchup. I'm going to, as I said, I'm not sure why it hasn't come up, but I did predict that it'd be a 5-game series, and I predicted that the Wild Boars would win this. So let's have a look at the matchup. Cole Anthony Towns against Giannis. Now, Cole Anthony Towns, as you probably know, is a top 10 fantasy player at 37, 4.4 fantasy points a game. But to go up against someone like Giannis, who's 9, nearly 8.5 fantasy points better, really puts you behind the 8 ball to start off with. And Cole Anthony Towns is their overall, what you'd expect to be their best player. But Christian Wood against Durant, no competition there. A 10 fantasy point advantage for Durant. Miles Bridges has been great, 30.5 fantasy points a game. But the GOAT, the one and only Lebron.
This is our little
LeBron! Hey, LeBron!
Yep.
Oh, little French fella.
Our little LeBron.
42. Who would have thought that LeBron, in his this season, 19th season, is it? 42.8 fantasy points a game is absolutely ridiculous. That's crazy. It's fantastic. The backcourt of Ingram and Mitchell, I mean, sitting on people's nuts there to think that that's not a great backcourt. That's 32.4 and 34. So huge advantages. Jimmy Butler and him, it's pretty much a wash. I mean, the only advantage I might have is DeJounte Murray over someone like a Donovan Mitchell. And there's only, there's 4 fantasy points there, but the front court is just all advantage to basically the Boars, who I think will probably win the title from here. Let's have a look at the benches, though. Capella has pretty awful. Have a look at that. 20.8 fantasy points a game over the last 20. It's been shitful. He's not making bank anymore. He's not doing much of anything anymore, to be honest. Has Clint Capella. We'll play his music. Surprised that Cole Anthony's averaging 27 fantasy points a game in only his second season.
Shout out to Dale. Shout out to Mopahamba. Shout out to my whole team, man. We had to go get that dub, man. Shout out to the Magic, man. Let's go.
How about you, Cole? You took over in that fourth quarter. You're very comfortable with the basketball, made some big shots.
Yeah, he's very good. We haven't seen Ben Simmons all year. I don't think he'll be back in this series, but we'll see. Sadiq Bey has been also a great second-year player. So 2 really good second-year players that they've got there. They've got a team of the future. They're all fairly young. Apart from Buckets, they've got a very young team. The bench for the Boars, Monte Morris and Will Barton, 2 boring-ass Denver players. Not much to say about those guys other than that they are fucking boring, to be honest. Evan Fournier, 19 fantasy points. That's a joke, isn't it? It's really a joke. He's pretty shit. But I guess the best player on the bench in recent times has definitely been Steven Adams, Grizzly. Steven Adams, he's been absolutely on another level. If I can find that little sound drop for Adams.
Trey, I'm going to beat your ass on the court. Yeah, right. Grizzly Adams had a beard. Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
So it promises to be a great series from here. I'm looking forward to seeing how all these games play out. I'd like to see Mitchell Robinson come back. I think he's had a few good games here and there, so we'll see if he can get into the rotation. I wouldn't mind seeing it, but a very solid team, the Boars. How they can fit all of those superstars under the cap. It does help when they're old. It does help when they're injury prone, like Durant, and LeBron is getting old as well. So that's been the wrap up for today. Thank you very, very much. And have any comments, let me know.